tonight. May, the mere word brings images of immortality. A place where being a series champion is one thing, being an Indy champion can be something else.
And if you thought taking turn one at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway was a thrill ride, well, that's nothing compared to what Alexander Rossi feels here in Northern California. The need for speed came quite early for him.
Plus how women are playing a growing part in the sport's future. And one of the men who have played a part in his past. The time is now. The curtain goes up tonight on Trackside 6.
Live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and RTV6 Sports, this is Trackside 6.
Well, the track was closed to the public today, but that doesn't mean there wasn't any track activity. The 3 series and the Mazda Road to Indy all had practice today, getting ready for their doubleheader weekend in racing, both tomorrow and Saturday. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the world's greatest race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Once again, this month of May, very busy with the Grand Prix coming up on Saturday. Of course, it all culminates with the 101st running of the Indianapolis 500. And get this, just 17 days away. The crew spent much of the day getting their pit boxes and pit stalls ready to go for the weekend and the month of May, for that matter. Brad Brown, Michael Grady standing by. They're in Gasoline Alley where the crews are getting their garages ready and set to go this month. Hey, guys.
Hey, Dave, this will come to life tomorrow as they start Grand Prix practice later on in the show. This evening, I'll be talking with defending race winner and IndyCar champ Simon Pagenaud.
And coming up, there's some ladies making their mark on the engineering side in the Verizon IndyCar Series. That story coming up as well.
All right, Dave, we'll look forward to that. We'll send it back to you.
And we're going to start this month of May the way we ended last year's month of May with Alexander Rossi, the Indy 500 champion. He's got a place to call home here now in Indy, but that always really wasn't the case. Used to live out in Northern California where, guess what, he still had a view from the top because guess what, he was almost a professional skier. Alexander Rossi loves speed. Left turn, right turn. Racing is his life, and his life is racing.
But did you know that auto racing may not have been really his first love? Instead, it was the slopes here in Northern California. Yeah, before he was on 4 wheels, he was on 2 skis.
Welcome to Squaw Valley, one of the largest ski resorts in the U.S. with 270 trails, 42 lifts, covering 6,000 acres of skiable terrain, home to the 1960 Winter Olympics. Located just west of Lake Tahoe, where High Camp has an elevation of 8,200 feet, and a place where you'll likely find Alexander Rossi wearing a Patriots hat.
I take it you're going to wear the Patriots hat during the
I
whole
do like the
piece.
Patriots. So growing up in Europe, I loved the NFL, and there was only 2 teams televised in Europe. It was Green Bay Packers or the New England Patriots.
So if it came down to between the Packers and the Patriots, I think you have to choose the Patriots, right?
Makes sense, right?
Of course.
Okay.
In reality, it all makes sense when you get to know him. Around here, Rossi's no stranger. Growing up an hour away, he and his family started skiing at Squaw Valley when he was just 7 years old. He became addicted and rather good at it, and only backed off from the sport once he discovered racing.
If you had a big snowstorm blowing through, kids were still going to school, what would your mom do?
My mom was pretty chill. She'd pull me out of school, and if it was a good powder day, she didn't let it go to waste. So that's pretty awesome. I don't know if she'll like many people knowing that, but I guess it counts.
That's okay. Yeah, you're out of school now. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's not going to be on your permanent record now.
Yeah, exactly.
So growing up, your idol really wasn't necessarily Rick Mears. It was more Bodie Miller.
It's Bodie Miller, yeah. Lindsey Vonn. There was posters in my wall of race car drivers and skiers. So.
It's not bad.
No,
it's
it's cool.
a bad way to grow up, you know?
You know, I was so fortunate to grow up in this part of California. I mean, when people think of California, they think of Los Angeles.
Right.
But Northern California, for me, is the real California. And we have all 4 seasons, man. And you have all the summer activities, winter activities. And it's just, for me, it's the most beautiful place on earth.
That's to take nothing away from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a place where few rookies win, but through fuel conservation and communication from his team,
save fuel, coast as much as you can, clutch and coast,
he pulled off the upset of the season.
Checkered flag! You just won the Indy 500, baby!
whole month of May was an unbelievable experience because I never participated in it before. I never attended it before, so it was.
You really had no idea what you're getting yourself into.
I had no clue what I was doing through the whole time. Even after I won, I didn't know what I was doing. I think everyone was aware of that. So in terms of changing my life, on a day-to-day personal basis, no. I mean, it's the same process I go through from a professional standpoint. Yeah, there's unbelievable opportunities that would have never come about. Toe in, push down with the heel.
Hanging with an amateur skier isn't one of those great opportunities.
Now you're making fun.
Giving tips to an amateur isn't what he bargained for either.
Heels out, and you get a bit of hip action going.
Getting all this?
Not unlike racing, sometimes it's best enjoyed
Heels apart.
as a spectator sport.
Heels apart. There you go. Strong start.
I get where this is addictive, you know.
Yeah. It's because you never get it right, but it's a similar thing to driving a race car. Yeah. I mean, you can have the best lap that you think of your life, and then you'll sit down, you'll look at it, and you'll realize it wasn't even close. So it's the very same thing. You'll ski a line, and you'll think, oh, that was pretty majestic, and then you'll then see someone do something else, and you'll be like, yeah, never mind.
And majestic is what this is all about. A view from the top. Alexander is clearly used to it. He's not about to give it up anytime soon.
I get why you enjoy coming up here. I mean, look around, my goodness.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Getting on top of a mountain and kind of escaping from reality for a little bit. Just peaceful.
Still don't know about that Patriots hat, though. Our thanks to the folks at Squaw Valley. In fact, they've had so much snow in the wintertime and in the springtime, they expect to be skiing there into July, like July 4th. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? We're back after this.
Still to come, already a two-time winner of the Grand Prix. Simon says he's ready to take the next step. Brad Brown sits down with the reigning IndyCar champion. Plus, move over, boys. Michael Grady on the growth of women in racing and how it goes beyond driving a car when this Trackside 6 special continues.
Pit Road at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, one of the more exclusive racing properties in all of the world. Simon Pagino's pit, it's way down there. Brad Brown has more on the reigning IndyCar Series champ. Brad.
Hi, Dave. In his first year racing in America, Simon Pagenaud won a points championship. Last year, he did it again. He's won the Grand Prix here at Indianapolis twice, but has aspirations of winning Indy's biggest race. Right now, for Pagenaud, it's good to be on top.
No, kiss it.
Simon Pagenaud has every reason to feel that good. 2016 was a very, very good year.
Twin checkers out. Simon Pagenaud wins at Sonoma and wins the 2016 Verizon IndyCar Series Championship.
His IndyCar Series points championship included 5 race wins, among those the Grand Prix at Indianapolis, a dominating performance on the IMS road course.
To finally have climbed the mountain, so to speak, and to make it to the top right there. It's an amazing feeling. You know, I've had so much time to reflect on it as well during the winter. Yeah. It's been a tremendous feeling.
Pagenaud's IndyCar career started in 2012, winning Rookie of the Year honors. In 2013, his first IndyCar win was Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports. He finished 3rd in points that season. In 2014, a victory in the first Grand Prix of Indianapolis.
It's not the Indy 500 yet, but I hope I will get the Indy 500 as well.
And in 2015, he earned a coveted spot driving for Roger Penske. The formula of Pagenaud plus Penske has equaled massive success, including a win this season at Phoenix.
I like to say that I'm the quarterback of my team. You know, and I think everybody would understand here when I say that is I have to, you know, make sure that everybody's on the same, have the same approach about racing, and that everybody's ready to give 100%, just like I would, just like they would. You know, it's not just me, it's them, it's not just me. And I think that's what makes a difference.
Pagenaud has now won twice at Indy, but he's still chasing the Brickyard's biggest prize.
Is there a particular race other than Indy that you most look forward to during the course of this upcoming season? Indy 500, man. That's what I care about. That's all of it. This is the most prestigious race in the world. This is another one of my dreams. But I don't look at the championship as several races. I look at it as one race. To me, I race a championship. I don't race races.
And by the way, that win would get him another very nice ring.
Are you much of a jewelry guy? I don't get a, yes?
I'm like Helio.
Yeah? Well, you like
I love my rings.
You like your sparkly things?
I love my watches.
Yeah? How does this thing fit into the mix there? It matches well.
The one thing I love about this ring is, and you might understand this, but you know, there are some people who shake your hand like they're going to destroy your hand. With this, they destroy their hand before me, and I like it. This represents my life. This represents everything that I've been seeking for my whole life. All the efforts, all the sweats, drops of sweats at the gym is all in there.
Pagenaud comes back to Indy as the current IndyCar points leader. He's finished in the top 5 of all 4 races this season. Let's continue our Trackside 6 coverage. Back up to Michael Grady on the front stretch. Hi, Michael.
Thanks a lot, Brad. You know, the Verizon IndyCar Series continues to be a male-dominated sport, with the 101st Indy 500 fast approaching. Pippa Mann, the only female entrant. But there are some ladies behind the scenes that are blazing a trail of their own. Imagine being one of 3 of anything in your desired field. Some would look at that as a deterrent, an obstacle or white elephant in the room that would need to be confronted on a daily basis. But for Amanda Lund, Danielle Shepard, and Kate Gunlock, the only female engineers in the Verizon IndyCar Series, they don't look at their situation as a hindrance at all.
I just grew up with a love of racing. I knew from probably age 13 that I wanted to work in racing. Didn't necessarily know on the engineering side of it until about high school.
In one day, I can go from working on gearbox oils to timing stands to simulation stuff to making my car work all in one day. That's all in my control, and that's a lot of fun to me.
All 3 ladies work as race strategists, doing their part to help their team get any advantage they possibly can. And at the end of the day, it's the work that's most important.
Yeah, I don't feel like I get treated differently because I'm a woman in the sport. It's just like, I mean, there aren't a lot of us, but it's still just like a team. You're still just part of the team.
They give me crap a lot. They pick on me, and that's fine. I don't mind it. It's made me who I am. I've grown a really thick skin from it. So I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Kate and Danielle feel the same way. The 3 have developed a bond over the course of the past few years, and they all understand that they serve as inspiration for young women looking to get into the sport.
It's a lot of hard work, and if you want it and you're dedicated to it and you put the time and the effort in, you can definitely get here. Reach out to people, talk to people, find somebody, come to races.
Do your job, do it well, and know your stuff, and sure, you can have any opportunity you want.
All 3 women were asked if one day they'd like to get behind the wheel. They all said no, they're happy right on the engineering side. Don't go anywhere. Trackside Special continues right after this.
Coming up, 2016 was truly the greatest spectacle in racing. So, what's next? A look into the future of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And has it really been 50 years since the famed STP turbine swooshed its way around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? The driver, of course, Parnelli Jones. And coming up, we're going to visit his home in Torrance, California, and talk to Parnelli about what happened in 1967. Next on Trackside 6.
Time gone. Saturday marks the 4th IndyCar Grand Prix at the Speedway, the brainchild of Homan & Company CEO Mark Miles, who's still enjoying the bounce the track had from last year's Indy 500.
Yeah, last year the 100th was pretty stupendous. On all levels, the most important fun one was really just seeing the whole community get turned on, and a lot of people coming back who hadn't been here for a while, a lot of new people coming out. And the good news is they had a good experience. So the answer is we try to build on it, and that's what we're trying to do. And then this other thing happened, which kind of fell into our laps. It hasn't been fully appreciated in the States, but I just got back from Europe. And so when Fernando Alonso decided not to run Monte Carlo in order to compete here at Indianapolis for the 500, it's hard to exaggerate the impact of that news in Europe in particular. We were in Paris, Milan, Barcelona, Madrid, and London. First it was, I think they were a little negative, and now they're curious, and now they want to know what's it going to be like. So they're just completely captivated by this story. If you wanted to say, well, what could replace at least globally, the happening of the 100th, I think Fernando Alonso deciding to be here is a pretty good setup. You don't reinvent the Indianapolis 500-mile race. We just keep trying to execute better, make the fan experience better. We know that you commit a day if you're going to come out here on race day. And that's part of the shtick, but we want it to be as great a family experience, as great a fan experience as possible.
Yeah, Alonso adds a whole other dynamic to things when practice kicks off Monday here on the Oval for the Indy 500. Now, you know the Speedway is nothing if not about the history of this great race. Look no further than the oldest living winner, an 83-year-old Parnelli Jones, at the time he drove one of the most popular cars in Speedway history, the time of the Turbine. IndyCar might pass some by, but not Parnelli Jones, who watches and attends as many races as he can with his wife Judy, and in his Torrance, California home, has a few memories as well.
Like so many racers, Parnelli too has memorabilia throughout his house, including this clock, which was awarded to him from the L. Strauss & Company for the win in 1963. But you can tell one of the centerpieces of his life and his career was that 1967 Turbine. And what could have been.
God almighty. It just happens, it passes by. It's half a century.
50 years ago, it all started with a courting by Andy Granatelli, who in 1967 was prepared to take innovation to a whole new level.
Well, he was really Mr. 500, He put a lot into the Speedway, with his advertising and stuff like that.
He was ahead of his time, really,
yeah,
wasn't
he? Really was, yeah. I thought it was one of Granatelli's far out left deal that probably wouldn't work. Then the more I drove it, the more I got enthused about it, I didn't think it was going to be a world beater as it happened to be. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was.
The car appeared to be in a class all its own, but it had its limitations, namely on the straightaways.
About halfway down, they put the accelerating, and of course Mario and Foyt and Bernie and all of them, were figuring I'm backing off, so he's sandbagging, and I'm not, and I had no reason to sandbag.
And then there was the sound.
What did it sound like?
In the car?
Yeah.
More wind noise, I guess, than anything. You just kind of go shh.
Parnelli made plenty of noise at the start of the race in '67, passing Joe Leonard, A.J. Foyt, Gordon Johncock, and Dan Gurney by turn 2, and then took aim at the pole sitter, Mario Andretti.
You passed 4 guys by the time you hit to the south short chute, and then you see Mario in front of you there.
Yeah, well, perfect timing. I caught Mario and went underneath him, and he gave me the 1-lap sign. No, he just said, well, screw you, I guess,
Yep, Parnelli had whooped everyone by the time he was on the backstretch and led 4 times for 171 laps.
As said, I must report Parnelli Jones is almost at a halt on turn number 4.
Before the car started slowing down on lap 197.
I was stupid in the way I drove the car, though. I should have, the thing had tremendous torque, and accelerating out of the pits hurt it, and that's what hurt the bearing in the rear end.
Arguably the most famous car in Speedway history, wound up 6th. But the memories and memorabilia are still around, and 50 years later, one of the most famous racers in the world, so is a hint of regret.
I always blame myself for not taking it easy because I had a tremendous lead. And, I felt bad about that ever since. Still do.
The Turbine was so popular, they made thousands of toys and even these porcelain decanters. This is an old whiskey decanter, in fact. The whiskey's gone. Certainly the memories remain. Back after this.
Still to come, it's become the family first weekend at the Speedway. A look ahead to the IndyCar Grand Prix when this Trackside 6 special continues.
Here's a look at Friday's schedule at the track. Gates open early at 7:30. The first IndyCar practice hits the track at 9:15. 45 minutes then, and another at 12:25. Knockout qualifying starts at 4:20. The Firestone Fast 6 will run for the pole around 5:30.
And boys, another Trackside 6 special next Thursday. Another set of exclusive stories, including Tony Kanaan and his shoes. I know it sounds lame, but this will blow your mind. It blew my mind. Big weekend ahead, too, Brad.
Our grand preview coverage starts Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Enjoy the month of May.